Hello everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Cosolix, and today we're going to be talking about what pros do that you guys don't. And in particular, there's this kind of flow chart to Brawlhalla I really want to go over and show you what I mean in game. And you can kind of see on screen, it's bait, punish, and combo. You can use other words to describe this, but in this video, I'm going to be kind of describing this kind of flow of Brawlhalla through Google Slide, and then I'm going to be showing you guys how this actually is implemented in game. And it's something that a lot of people, when they first start playing the game, gold, platinum, low diamond, they don't really think about. But every pro thinks about these things, and this is my way of describing how we think about those things. And it's a lot of information that people have to deal with in real time, and you just get better and better as you understand the basics of this flowchart of Brawlhalla. So without further ado, let's get right into it. But before we do that, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, comment down below. Comment down below if this video helped you. And yeah, hit that sub. Like 70% of you guys are not subscribed, so subscribe. Okay, now let's get into this. So it's the bait, punish, and combo. What I like, a lot of these have like question marks behind them, and I'm going to be going over exactly what I mean by each one. So first one, bait. So when I think of bait, the goal is to get your opponent in a punishable position. So what I mean by punishable position is when your opponent misses an attack or your opponent wastes a dodge or options. So they don't have many options, right? So how do you get your opponent in a punishable position? So you can bait with movement. This is probably the safest way of baiting, and this is the way that I think beginners should practice first. So it's using your movement options. So here's a list of a ton of movement options that you can use. You got dash, empty hops, which is basically like a jump fast fall, dash jump, air dodges, back dashes, backdash jumps, just regular jumps, fast falls, dash cancels, or dash dodges is another thing, which I didn't even list here. There's so much more. Dash cancels, dash pivots, like sprinting, wall hugging, obviously, yeah, dash cancels, spot dodging, jump dodging down. There's so many ways to bait your opponent. You could do like a dash jump, double jump. There's so many different movement options in Brawlhalla. So I'm going to be showing you guys movement in Brawl later and like all of these options, what they look like. But the goal is to constantly be moving. It's almost like speed hacks in Brawlhalla. You want to be constantly moving your position so your opponent thinks you're in one spot, they try and hit, and then you're already gone, right? And using movement, you can like, let's say you're on sword, right? Sword picks up really close to the player. You can get really close to your opponent, but then back away immediately. And by the time they attack and get their hitboxes out, you're already gone, right? Obviously, Neutralite is a very quick move, so that's a bit difficult, but there's a lot of stuff. But yeah, bait with movement. The next way to bait, this is a bit riskier, is baiting with attacks. The key thing is when you use an attack to bait, you need to make sure that you don't get punished. So only use attacks in situations where you cannot get punished for using that attack. So attacks with drift. So Lance Nair has a lot of drift and momentum. Same with like Axe Nair or Axe Downer or Bow Neutral Air. Moves with drift, you can attack while moving away. So you're kind of baiting with movement and baiting with attacks at the same time. So using really high movement options. So like on Lance, you could do like a dash jump and then Sair backwards. And I'm going to be showing you guys what I mean by that. Every legend has different options to bait with attacks. Every legend has some options. Even Zul, like the Axe Neutral Sig, sends you really high upwards in the sky. If you're playing against a weapon that doesn't have a good anti-air, then that could be a great way to bait with an attack and also not get punished. Another thing is attacks with low recovery frames. So like on Lin Fei, a cannon neutral sig is really good to bait with because it has like no recovery frames. It's really easy to not get punished, right? So you can use signatures or light attacks like Orb Nair as well, high in drift, and it also has low recovery frames where even if you miss your attack, you're not going to get punished. You can dodge immediately after, right? And then another thing is, even if you have an attack with a lot of recovery frames and doesn't have a lot of drift, you can bait with attacks if you're far enough away from your opponent. So when the move is fully done, your opponent can still not get to that position. So moves like, let's say, Vector Lance D-Sig is a very difficult move to bait with. However, you do land in the midair. And if you do it far enough away from your opponent, you can use it as a bait. You can use almost any attack in Brawlhalla as a bait. There's a couple ones that are very difficult, if not impossible. And we'll be going over that as well. You could even like gravity cancel attacks to make them shorter to use as baits as well, but then you don't have a dodge, so it's a bit riskier. So that's baiting, right? So the goal is to get your opponent to miss. Those are the options to get them to miss. Next is punish. So the key thing with punish is picture a question mark after the word punish. The first thing you got to think of is, can you punish your opponent? If you cannot punish your opponent, don't go for a punish. Just reset or reposition yourself in a place that allows it so your opponent can't wake up or anything, and then almost like try again. Like if you can't punish your opponent, if your opponent is baiting and you can't punish them, you shouldn't go for a punish in the first place. If you think you can punish them, then you got to ask yourself, what's the best option you can punish with? It's better to hit an option rather than no option. So if you're thinking too much mid-game, that's an issue in itself. But the goal is, okay, what are the best options to punish with? Well, obviously, there's two options that are the best. Either one, a combo starter, you're trying to build up damage, or two, going for a kill. And sometimes a combo starter can lead to a kill, like on sword, downlight, recovery, whatever. More often than not, SIGs kill quicker than true combo confirms. So, can you hit a combo starter? If you can hit a combo starter, then go for a combo starter, especially if you're trying to build up damage. If you can't hit a combo starter, then use any punish possible. Ideally, any punish that is a string starter is also nice too. Combo starters, like true combo starters, are great, but the goal is to get yourself in an advantage state so you can keep going, right? True combos are the best way of doing that because then you can keep going for free. But if something isn't a true combo starter, let's say Lance D-Light, for instance, Lance D-Light is your only option. You should use it if you're stacked, right? It's too difficult to go for other options, so it's the optimal option. You can't really sidelight in time. You'd have to like dash sidelight, then by then it's too long. Can you kill your opponents as well? If you can kill your opponents with a signature, then it's best to punish with a signature, especially if it's a guaranteed punish. The key thing is, can you punish your opponent with these moves, right? If you for sure can, then do it. And this is definitely something you got to think about. If you can't punish with a signature, then try and land any attack possible. And if you still can't punish with any attack possible, in your head you just don't believe in yourself, don't go for anything. Okay, so it's like punish question mark. And then the last part is combo. So when you land your punish, can you follow up with a true combo? Did you hit a combo starter? If so, then go for a true combo until it's not a true combo. So that's where you got to learn your true combos because you're getting free damage. If you can't punish with a true combo, then don't follow up. Unless you can follow up if they don't have a dodge and they're vulnerable. Like let's say it's instead of a combo starter, it's a string starter. So let's say if it's, for example, Lance Downlight, right? If you hit a Lance downlight and they don't have a dodge, it might be safe to go for something further, like a sidelight after, even though your opponent could jump out of it. It all depends on what options your opponent does. The safest thing is if they can get out of it in any way, I wouldn't go for anything. It's better to play safe and then kind of read your opponent later in the match than it is to try and go for reads right away. The goal is for you to not get punished. And if you go for a follow-up that isn't confirmed, there's a chance that you're going to get punished yourself. So if you get a true combo, follow up. If you don't get a true combo, don't follow up unless it's guaranteed. Next is, does your opponent have a dodge, which I've already mentioned? If yes, then I would go for any tight string that's like 1 to 4 dodge frames. As you go more pro, I would only go for things that are confirmed. At lower health, if your opponent doesn't have a dodge, they might not jump out of it and they might not punish you for it. Not lower health, lower elo. So it's more likely that you're going to be able to hit combos. So hit a punish. Can you follow up with a true combo? If no, then can you follow up with a tight string? So does your opponent have a dodge? If they don't have a dodge, I would go for a tight string follow-up. If you don't have a tight string follow-up, do not follow up. Okay? Unless you have a huge lead and you want to go for combos and stuff to look cool, it is not optimal to go for follow-ups if they're not guaranteed. Play like a computer, right? Think of if you were to program an AI to play Brawlhalla, would an AI go for something that isn't confirmed? No. Because it's better to play safe and reset than it is for you to follow up with something that isn't confirmed. And this is a big issue with Brawlhalla, is it's very easy to get out of combos. Currently, you get your dodges back just by touching the ground pretty quickly. So right now, don't follow up unless it's confirmed. If your opponent has a dodge, don't follow up. If they don't have a dodge, don't follow up unless you have a tight string. Then, if you don't follow up, like let's say you can't keep going, you got to think about also repositioning yourself. So keeping a position so you can keep punishing your opponent if they do a wake up attack. Also changing your position so your opponents can't attack you afterwards. So like not just wake ups, but also like kind of being far enough away from your opponents and keeping a distance. That's like spacing. So here's some options that you can do after you hit your opponent and you can't follow up. You can chase dodge and reposition. So like I'll kind of show you what that means in game as well. You can spot dodge and then try and react. And all of these are reactions. You reposition, see what your opponent does, and then keep going. And then it's rinse repeat, getting them to miss and continuing that flow chart, right? Spot dodge and react. You could do absolutely nothing and then try and react. Or you can also do another bait and keep a thing that I call tempo. Daiku calls it tempo too. He's the one who taught it to me. It's being able to use an attack that your opponent can't punish to maintain stage control and advantage state. So you could like, I don't know, like let's say you hit a true combo. Let's say we're on Lance, you hit side light neutral air. And then this is tempo. If you go for an instant down air is a very difficult move to punish. So you're keeping tempo. Your opponent could wake up to try and punish you, but you're already gone because down air is too quick. And then you keep advantage state. And I'm going to be showing that as well. But it's basically, that's basically the end of the document. It's this flow chart. Bait, punish, combo. Get your opponent to miss. Can you punish and how to punish? And should you combo? And then after comboing, reposition so you can keep going. Right? This flow is super important. So let me show you guys what I mean in game. Let me see if I just got a little 1v1 replay file. Here we go. Let's take a look here. That was a bad game against me, LXD. Let's take a look against me and Phazon. I won this game, so let's just take a look. This is in Winter Champs, by the way. This is top 16 losers side. So this is literally pro gameplay, us playing smart. So obviously going for neutral airs and stuff like that is a bit different. That's a different part of Brawlhalla. Here we go. Already, this is the flow chart. We're in neutral. Now we're both trying to get our opponents to miss. So what Phazon does is he goes for an unarmed D-Light right away. Honestly, really risky. I go for a punish, but look at this. This is a bait. He used a move with low recovery frames. By the time I tried to punish it, which I couldn't, but I didn't realize, look at this, he's already dashing and he's gone. So he's baiting immediately. Now here, I thought that I could hit a D-Sig, and this is a bit different. I like to call this a big dick energy, where you kind of just run up to them and just attack them. It's just more of a mix-up. This is not something about the flow chart. The flow chart is like 90% of Brawlhalla. The extra 10% is the other stuff. Let's keep watching. Same thing here. I do a D-Sig, then I didn't reposition or anything. I was going for a reaction. I couldn't follow up, so I didn't follow up. Phazon didn't do anything, and then he just walked up and end-lighted because he knew I was going to D-Sig again, and he was basically punishing that D-Sig. Now, Phazon end-lighted. Phazon didn't have a true combo follow-up, so he shouldn't have followed up this gauntlet end-light. He went for a neutral air. If he didn't follow up, and if he saw me dash in, he could have went for a reaction side light. So that's an issue, and pros make a ton of mistakes too. This was a mistake from Phazon. Let's keep going. Then I go for an end light because I got hit, I repositioned, he followed up, and then I punished him for following it up. So he didn't correctly, if you go back to that flow chart or whatever that we thought of, he didn't realize if he can combo. He didn't combo efficiently. He didn't reposition because he couldn't combo. And because he went for a follow-up, he got hit for it. So he made a mistake in that flow chart. Let's keep going. I did a neutral light, and then I chase dodged towards him to reposition to try and get a reaction. Phazon saw this chase dodge, and I didn't reposition in a good way. I went towards him. Phazon saw that. I wasted an option, and now I'm vulnerable. So it goes back to the flow chart. Same thing here. Look at this. Phazon side-lighted. He went for recovery, which is confirmed. Now he didn't have a true combo follow-up. So instead of going for something instantly, Phazon repositioned. He saw me dodge down, and then he caught me with an air. So because he realized he couldn't combo, but then because he realized he couldn't true combo follow-up, he repositioned, and then noticed that I did something that put me in a bad state, and then he punished it. And this whole situation, by the way, is all with him using baits and stuff like that to maintain tempo. He used a neutral air, and then neutral air doesn't have any combo follow-ups. However, he used another bait to keep tempo, side air. I can't punish the side air, and because of that, it made me go to the right because he used an attack, so it forced me in another position, and he kept advantage state because of it. Again, back to that flow chart, you can go back into the video. The dude used the move for tempo and kept stage control because of it. Now, I did a wake up and see Phazon. He went for an instant side sig. He went for a combo that wasn't efficient. He went for something that has dodges in between it, and you can't string Enlight into side sig super easily. And he did it also at an inefficient health. So I did a wake up to get out of this follow up. Right? And again, this all goes back to that flowchart. You can go earlier in the video. I'm going to link that Google slide down below in the description, but I use an option. I used the wake up to get out of it, and yeah, it just wasn't that efficient. Same thing here. Look at this. I do an axe down air, and I'm using a move that is a follow-up that I thought was close to confirm because it covers a lot of dodge reads. I went for a down sig. Bad option by me. Phazon should have punished it with a downer, but he just missed his punish. Then I got Phazon in a vulnerable position, which I thought, so I went for a side light. The side light was dumb. Phazon used side air tempo, so he baited, made me miss, and then goes for an attack. So getting your opponent to miss is two things. It's baiting and using movement. And you can do both as well. He side aired as a bait, and then he did a wake up end light to punish. Now he end lighted. He doesn't have a follow-up after end light, so now he's using movement to get me to do something vulnerable. He used another bait, but instead I was able to punish his bait, right? And this is me also using movement. I walked away, and then I dash jumped to reposition myself, and now I was able to get the punish. So again, it's movement and baiting to get your opponent vulnerable, and then you punish effectively and efficiently. Same thing here. He went for let's see. He went for, or I did a side light, and because he's in the air and off stage, he didn't have a great punish option. The dude's far away. So I kind of use that as a bait. Then I used my dash to get out of the way. I reposition because I thought I could punish his down air, which is also a bait. I couldn't. Goes for an end light, but my down air was also a bait because I've got a ton of drift and momentum. He goes for a punish, and now I was able to get the attack because we're both baiting each other. The good thing with this gameplay is it's a lot of baits, but in some high level, instead of baiting, people will use movement. And then that's why the game can feel stale sometimes. People are kind of just dancing and running around each other. And movement is another way, but baiting is also can be very risky. But same thing here. I did a, what was it? I did a down air. I didn't think I could follow up, and I wanted to get a lance, so I threw my weapon. I got a lance. I used another attack that is a bait, a lance neutral air. He thought he could punish, which he couldn't, and then I punished with a side air, which is also a kill option, so it's also very effective. Didn't exactly kill, but it was close. Now, same thing here. We're in neutral. Instead of me using movement to get him to miss, I'm using bait. So I do a little dash jump side air. The dude's unarmed. He can't punish this dash jump side air. I'm using it for a bait. Now, he actually does a down light, which is kind of unexpected because I'm dashing towards him. And I didn't think he would get this down light, but he did. That was really nice. And look at this. He knew he couldn't follow up his sight downlight, so he's waiting. He used a dash to reposition, and he's trying to go for something else. He's trying to keep himself safe, keep that advantage state, gets me attacking, which I sidelighted, which is stupid. But he didn't even think he could punish it, and he didn't, because it's tournament, and you got to be cautious and careful, which he was. Now, he went for a neutral sig. I dodged, so I wasn't in a good position to punish. And then he saw me about to land, and he caught me with a side light. And that's me being vulnerable. So again, it's baiting with attacks or movement, getting your opponent vulnerable, and yeah, and then punishing. And then in this situation, he goes for a side light. He did something wrong here. He went for an instant chase dodge end sig. He tried to follow up this combo that wasn't even close to being true. This is a very cocky play of him. So I simply got out of the combo, waited, and then punished, and now he's dead. And that's because he didn't follow the flowchart properly, right? And it all goes back to that flowchart that I mentioned on that slide, okay? These are things that pros think about, but it's impossible to do properly. And the best pros in the world do these, like, perform that flowchart better than others. And that's the difference between pros and really the difference maker in winning Brawlhalla games consistently or not. Like, look at this. I go for a Neutralite. Now, should I follow up my Neutralite? Well, he's got a dodge and everything, so it doesn't make sense to. So instead of following up my Neutralite, I do a dash dance to reposition. I see Phazon jump, so now I'm going for an attack with high movement, so I've got a chance of landing it. Worst case, I drift away as a bait, and it's a bait. He's not punishing it. He tries to punish it, and then I get a downer because it's a bait. Same thing, flowchart. Then I downer, right? Can I follow up this downer? No. So I reposition. I chase dodge, spot dodge for a reposition. Phazon jumps in the air. I can neutral air again, and I do. And so, again, it's that flowchart. I can't combo, so instead I reposition. And, you know, I'm going to go back to that flowchart, just in that exact situation, because it's a perfect situation. Can you punish your opponent? If no, don't try to punish. So I didn't try and punish, right? Now, if you don't try and punish, what options do I have? So no, if you don't follow up, then you can chase dodge and reposition, spot dodge and react, nothing, or another bait. You can also use movement to reposition. I didn't really mention this. These are just some options. There's so many options to reposition, but I couldn't follow up. So then I did a chase dodge and a spot dodge to reposition. And then I both used an attack and another bait. I used a high movement attack. So worst case, I don't get hit. Best case, I hit him with an attack. And I continued it. Look at this. I hit a neutral air. And then same thing here. I hit a neutral air and I can't follow up. So I'm going to use another bait. I use down air. If I hit the down air, it's a tight string. It's 4 dodge frames. If I don't hit the down air, he can't punish it. Now I'm neutraliting, which is kind of bad because I wasn't really in a position to. It was very close, actually. Like, look at that. Oh my god, the dude's lucky. He's lucky. Look at this. I'm surprised I didn't hit. Oh my god. Oh, my lance should have hit. Okay, that's the bad lance skin then. Anyways, I neutralized. The dude used his own form of movement on me. Let me fix this camera zoom. Whatever. I hate the replay system sometimes. Is it X for camera? Whatever. Anyways, I did all this. I hit the down air, couldn't. I reposition, nair. I down air again, and then I try and catch it with the neutralite. This guy uses a dash cancel, pivot, jump to reposition himself after moving so he can get the punish. So it's the same thing. It's using movement to bait, which he just did there, and then he punished with a sider, and then he can't follow up, so he doesn't. And he waits for me, and then he neutral sigs. So that's basically everything. It's this flow chart that people should be thinking of. I could have made some art to describe this in a better way, but it's those three things, right? Get your opponent to miss, try and punish, and should you keep going? If you shouldn't, then put yourself in a position where you can get more attacks by either baiting and movement, rinse, repeat the flow chart. Bait, punish, combo. Bait, you get a punish, can you combo? If not, then bait again, can you punish? Can you get a combo? If not, then bait again, can you punish? Can you get a combo? Etc. It's just rinse, repeat. And if you get good at these things, you can go pro in Brawlhalla. Anyone can. This is what Brawlhalla pros don't tell you, guys. If this video helped, hit that like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think. And I'm kind of happy that I can make this kind of breakdown, an in-depth breakdown, because it's not something a lot of pros really talk about, in my opinion, especially publicly. So, hope you enjoyed. See you guys in the next video. Peace.